Lesley and with Corey.
That's me.
Unlocking Your Truth is a talk show about metaphysics and spirituality. We broadcast on 101. Oh gosh, I've forgotten, Corey. 101.7 101.7 FM across the Fraser Valley from CIBL and from the unceded territory of the Stolo Nation. We broadcast every Tuesday from 7 to 8 Pacific time. We also pre-record the show, and we do that so that we can have a live audience. And our live audience joins us from my YouTube channel and also from a Facebook group called Awaken Your Psychic Abilities. So if you're listening and you haven't joined us in the chat room yet, then you're invited to do so. Just go to my YouTube channel or Awaken Your Psychic Abilities Facebook group. And Unlocking Your Truth, as I said, it's a talk show about metaphysics and spirituality. We've been doing the show for 6 years. We've got over 320 episodes.
We have 330 episodes.
Yeah, so we've built up an amazing library of information. And so if you're tuning in for the first time, then go to drlesleyphillips.com and you can go onto the podcasts there and you will find anything that you might be curious about, really, in the realm of metaphysics and spirituality. You can put in a search term and you're guaranteed really to get something come up. And if you don't, write to us and tell us, because then we can do a show.
Yeah, if we're missing something, let us know.
And then we can do a show. And tonight's show is on something that we've never done a show on before. I don't think we've ever done crystals before.
I'm going to check. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I don't know where we got the idea to do crystals.
Brian.
Brian. Well, thank you, Brian. So
I think it was Brian.
It's going to be a kind of fun show. I'll do a little bit of a spiel, but I have a collection of crystals, and these poor crystals, they've been sitting in a drawer for a while, and I have got loads of them, and they're all in these little boxes.
Oh, Tracy suggested it. Sorry, Tracy suggested it. Sorry,
They're
Tracy.
in these little sealed boxes, and
and
I'm going to run my hand over these boxes, and I'm going to see which crystals want to speak to us and what they have to say. So I think that would be fun.
Katie's really excited about today's show.
So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to start off by just telling you some fun stories about crystals. And for those of you who are listening on the radio, you're not going to be able to see my props and things, but if you're in the chat room, you can. And I've got these 2 bowls of crystals. 2 bowls of crystals. And one is a bowl with green polished stones and amber polished stones, and the other one is a bowl with mainly blue and one pink one.
The amber ones look like tiger eyes.
Yeah, I think that I've never actually tried to find out what they are, but I think they're agate. All of these 2 big bowls of crystals came from my garden. And when we moved into this house, every day that I would go into the garden, the earth would spit up a stone. I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you. It would spit up a stone, and it would say, "Here you are, Lesley. Here's your gift for the day." And I would take that stone inside and put it in my bowl. And then and I'd look around. There'd be no other stones. And the next day I would go, and sure enough, the garden birthed me another crystal. So these are magic crystals from my garden.
Yeah, but I think it was just a trade, because the garden took 3 once.
Yeah, that's another crystal story. Well, yeah, because we really, this house was neglected when we got it, and the garden was neglected. So we restored it. And I don't know, maybe the nature spirits were just saying thank you to me. And, you know, funnily enough, the pink one, I only got one from the front garden, and that's the pink one. All the rest were from the back garden. But yes, another funny story about our garden is that I had 3 crystals that somebody gave me, and they were heat-treated crystals. And I said, oh, that, you know, well, thank you for your present. But I thought, you know, oh no, these poor crystals, they've been really ruined. So I put them in the, we've got a pond, a 3-tiered pond. And I put them in the upper pond just to rest there with the water flowing over them, and so they could get the sunlight and the moonlight. And those crystals disappeared forever.
I found one.
Found one, but there were 3.
2. Found 2.
Did
I found
you?
one
You
little,
didn't
yeah.
tell me.
I found one the other day there when I was cleaning out the plants.
I thought we only found one.
No.
No, so I mean, there's anyway, interesting relationship between crystals. And I had another time before we moved into this house, I was feeling sad. And I went on a walk, and in the middle of the road, a massive geode, an amethyst geode, was just there. And
Shattered.
I picked them all up.
Yeah.
And I just felt like that was the universe trying to cheer me up. And it was a big crystal. I'm just holding up one piece of it, but it was there was loads of those bags full of it.
Yeah.
Not just
that road, there was a lot of trucks just to run that road up to the quarry and back. And there was a quarry up top, and they come through, and I think it might have fallen off the truck.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting.
Yeah. And then I got one more bowl. These I just bought from the dollar store, but they have significance because I was meditating one day and my guides showed me that they like to feed me little packages of information, like little clear crystals. So I bought these little clear ones just to remind me to be open to receive what they're wanting to bring me. Anyway, let's talk a bit more. Let's talk about crystals, and then I'll do my lucky dip in my crystal collection and see what comes up. So on the one hand, there's not much scientific evidence about crystals, right? A scientist would just tell you the composition of this, you know, I don't know, the composition of the crystal, the structure of the crystal, and, you know, explain the color by the composition and all of that. Meanwhile, people have been using crystals for healing for thousands and thousands of years. The Egyptians used them, the Sumerians used them, the Greeks and the Romans had beliefs around the power of crystals to help them in battle and so on. So historically, we've got this relationship with the mineral kingdom. And from my perspective, I believe at least that crystals can amplify energy. So you can channel energy through a crystal and it will amplify energy. They will absorb energy. So you can program a crystal. You can send energy into a crystal and the crystal will store information and energy. So crystals, they will absorb energy, they will amplify energy, they can store information, they can absorb negative energies. And that's why we like to cleanse crystals. So remember I was saying I put some crystals out in my garden. You can bury them in the soil. You can place them in running water. You can leave them out in the moonlight or the sunlight. But the idea is to purify them and cleanse them and help them let go of any negative energies that they have picked up. this one actually is on my desk all the time. And often when we're doing the radio show, I'm actually playing with it. And I feel like this one could do with a good cleansing. So maybe I will do that after the show. And so, how do we understand crystals? The way I would do it is by the vibrational frequency, by tuning. So everything is energy. Everything has a unique vibration. You do, I do. Every different crystal has a different vibration. And there is an interaction or an interplay between the vibration of the crystal and your vibration. So just like we did a show the other week and we were talking about, I think we were talking about plant medicine or herbs, and we were saying that, we were talking about food, well, if you consume a different herb, it's got a different vibration. And what effect that will have on you depends on what your vibration is. So I'm saying the same thing for the crystals, really, that they have particular energy vibrations and frequencies. And I would also say, I've got an amethyst in one hand here, and this one I found on the road is also an amethyst. They feel quite different to me, actually. So just as we would say, well, you're a human and you're a human, well, you're not the same, are you? So I feel the same way about crystals, in that, yes, here I've got two amethysts. And of course, like if a scientist analyzed them, it would probably come up with a similar profile and composition. But the energies of these two feel quite different to me, like they have their own uniqueness, their own individuality, their own personality. And that's why I'm an advocate, really, of in anything to do with the intuitive arts, is use your intuition to tune into the energy. Don't just get a book that tells you, well, amethyst is this, rose quartz is that. There might be some truth in it, but also tune in directly.
Yeah. The amethyst says that its purple stone is said to be incredibly protective, healing, and purifying. Helps rid the mind of negative thoughts, bring forth humility, sincerity, spiritual wisdom, promote willpower and healthy choices, aid sleep, and demystify dreams. When you think of that, that's a whole bunch of stuff. So one stone might be stronger because of its composition in one or the other factor.
Also the shape of them.
Yeah, the shape too, yeah.
It's different. Like I'm holding one which is just part of a natural geode, and I'm holding another which is an egg-shaped amethyst. And the one to me that feels like it has the highest, most uplifting vibration is the one that's come from the geode.
The clear quartz, like that might include clear quartz as well. And clear quartz is considered to be a master healer. And what it does is it augments the other crystals that are in with it. Like, for instance, a rose quartz combined with just the general quartz, I mean, rose quartz, it helps in your heart chakras.
Yeah, I'm holding two quartzes. One is
two quartzes.
It's got 2 points, and the other one is a little sphere. And again, mind you, that the pointy one feels like it needs cleansing. But again, yes, they're both quartz, but each one has a different energy. I guess we'll get more into that as we go through the show. So I would say, how do they work? It's based on vibration, and it's based on the vibration of the crystal interacting with your energy frequency. You can direct using your crystals because you can channel energy through the crystal. You can charge an energy with a crystal with a particular intention. And a brilliant example of that is the crystal skulls. Crystal skulls are the genuine ones, they are ancient skulls carved out of big pieces of crystal. And the original ones, that's exactly what's been done. They have been impregnated with information. Impregnate is not the right word. They've been
Programmed.
Programmed. Thank you, Corey. The most famous one is called the Mitchell Hedges skull, which was discovered in a pyramid in Belize, I believe.
Yeah. And it was on the island here on Victoria Island for the longest time.
Yeah.
Tracy asked, says, how she wants to know, tell us how the different vibrations feel from the crystals that you were holding.
Okay. Well, I'd just say that the one from the geode, the amethyst from the geode, it feels uplifting and super high vibration. And I feel when I tune into that one, it's almost like my vibrations go, it feels light and airy. And it's funny because here's this thing that came from deep in the ground, but it makes me think about the sky for some reason. And yeah, it's just super, super light. And the other one that's also an amethyst, if I tune into that one, let's see. The amethyst egg, it feels more grounded in a way, but it feels like it would help me go into a meditative state. And in the meditative state, I would be able to focus within and focus on myself. Whereas the lighter one from the geode makes me feel like I would really raise my vibration and connect with higher energies and maybe communicate with like a higher level of mind. So it's interesting, they feel quite different. We'll do more of that. And every time everyone asks a question, I will just choose a crystal and see what we get. So how can you use them?
It's time for a break before we do that.
Really? Gosh, that went quick. Okay, well, while we're going on a break, I'm going to look for my little Herkimer diamond. So I should say, folks, we'll be back after these messages. Welcome back, listeners. You're tuning into Unlocking Your Truth. Tonight, we're talking about crystals, and we're going to have some fun. We're just going to have fun with the crystals tonight. So what can you use crystals for? And one of the things that I used to have, and I've still got it somewhere, maybe it will be one of the ones that pops out, this tiny little Herkimer diamond. And it is a type of quartz. It's supposed to be really, really good for helping you dream. And I used to sleep with it under my pillow when I was really into recording my dreams. So they can help you dream. They can help you shift your consciousness. They can help you go into a meditative state. They can help you feel more grounded. They can help you connect with a higher realm, just like this little amethyst was making me feel. And people use them in all sorts of healing work. You know, you name it. People who are into doing healing with crystals, and often they will choose crystals to do a chakra alignment, and they will choose you know, something with a red color or red vibration for the first chakra, and so on all the way up, with the amethyst actually reflecting the crown chakra. So yeah. So I'm going to just do a lucky dip, and we'll see what crystal wants to talk to us first.
Okay. I have a comment from Brian that's interesting. That's has to do with what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, well, you can say it then.
Brian said there must be some science with them, as they use them in timepieces because they're supposed to keep the machinery accurate.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there is a whole science, isn't there, around I don't know, liquid crystals and liquid crystal displays and all of those things. I don't pretend to be
crystals themselves.
So the one that ended up speaking to us first is I'll probably pronounce it incorrectly, chrysoprase. 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 This used to be my favorite little crystal friend, actually, and I haven't had him out for years. But let's see what he wants to say to us. It's this beautiful, for people listening on the radio, it's this beautiful blue crystal. Beautiful blue crystal. And I feel, wow, I can feel myself, actually, I can feel myself vibrating while I'm holding it. I felt like one of the messages, or one of the things that was coming through while I was holding this crystal is inviting us to open our communication, inviting us to open our fifth chakra, but in ways that perhaps don't usually think of. And so communicating with the earth, communicating with the planet, communicating with, for some reason, the oceans and the creatures within the oceans came up. But just realizing that we are a part of this world, and we are meant to be an integrated part of this world. And yet, you know, most humans separate themselves from everything else. And so this little crystal is inviting us to open our fifth chakras and communicate with the ocean, communicate with the dolphins and whales in the ocean, communicate with the rocks, communicate with the trees, that there is consciousness within all. And yeah, I don't want to stop holding this. I feel like it's giving me a little bit of a treatment here. So let's take the first question, and I will choose a crystal to help get the answer for this person. I think Corey's choosing.
Sorry?
I was asking you to choose a question, Corey.
Oh, okay. I was just looking up the science. I was just looking up the science of some crystals while they're being used. Okay. I'm not going to go in order tonight because some of the questions jump in a little bit more strongly. And Carol says, what's the significance with crystal skulls or different shapes?
Well, I think the crystal skulls were just made in the shape of a human skull to feel less alien to us, to feel approachable to us. The original ones that were programmed with information. And what's the significance of different shapes? Well, often people will use one with a point because they are channeling energy through it. often people who have crystal wands, it's got a point at the end of the wand. So perhaps using it in manifesting, amplifying the energy of intention that they're sending through the crystal. You might think of a sphere as being more of, it could be more of a balanced and harmonizing energy. Often though, a crystal ball is used in scrying or using the clairvoyance as well, so for clarity, but and then I don't know if I've got a cube. I've got one that's sort of an angular shape here. I mean, I would say, holding one with multiple facets just makes me think about seeing it from all angles. A cube shape might be a more grounding shape. So, yeah, I think that different shapes might be used in different ways.
I have my wand here. This is my wand that I was given by someone, and it's basically, if you look at it, it's just a leather holder with a crystal on it, and it's a pure crystal. But inside of it, there's a set of chakra stones plus tourmaline for grounding, turquoise for the thymus chakra, charcoal, shells, spring sage, sweetgrass, yew, and pine. And this is a crystal healing. It's a crystal healing wand that my friend makes, and they're really phenomenal. She made one for me. I think Lesley's got one as well, and they're ultra cool. I'll put it over here because otherwise you don't see it. It disappears. See the power of it? It disappears into the background.
Okie dokie. So do we have a question, Corey?
Oh, we have lots of questions, Dr. Lesley. Let me go to my question page here. Just takes me a second. Oh, the crystal skulls. I want to make a point on the crystal skulls. The original crystal skulls, I can't remember whether 12, I think there were 12 of them, right, Lesley?
Yeah.
There are 12 of them. And they're ancient skulls. They're very old, very old. And the one of the things about them is that at the time, they couldn't drill. They wouldn't have been able to drill crystal. They didn't have the tools to drill and manufacture these crystal skulls. So there's a whole concept around them.
The Mitchell Hedges skull was analyzed at Hewlett-Packard and put under, I think, an electron microscope, and they just said that we didn't even have the tools today to create such a thing, that it would leave tool marks on it, and there's no tool marks on these things.
Yeah, quite interesting. Okay, this is from Carol. Carol says, how do you communicate with crystals? I love my crystals and I'm drawn to them, but love to know how I can receive intuitive messages from them.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll choose one for you, and then I'll see if I can use the one that I've ended up picking to sort of give you an answer. I'm not looking at them while I'm picking them, I'm just feeling the energy. Oh, that's an interesting box. I've forgotten the name of this one. It's got pink and green. I used to know the name of it. Okay, so how do you read the energy of the crystals? So I would say what I'm doing is I'm feeling the energy of the crystal with my hand chakras. And I am using my clairvoyance to tune into the crystal. I'm sort of feeling the vibrational frequency of the crystal through my whole body, actually. And I just felt like when I was talking to my chrysoprase, like I was having a conversation with another consciousness. And so just have the intention to communicate and see what comes up. Let's see this little one. Well, when I tune into this one, I'm getting a message, and it's this image of or metaphor of a snail. And it's quite a happy snail, and it's in the garden, and it's munching away at some green leaves. And it just feels like it's a message about not biting off more than you can chew, going at a steady pace, and being in and enjoying the moment. There you go. If you've all got crystals with you at home, just grab hold of them and have a play with them, have a feel.
And he said the pink and green is unikite.
Unikite.
And also, somebody asked, let me just go here. Mr. Bajali just asked, can you type us the name of that first crystal, the green one?
Chrysoprase.
Yeah, I know I have it here, but I don't know. CRYTOPHAZSE? I'll put crystal phase.
Not crystal phase.
Crystal.
CRYSOPHASE, I think.
See, I'll write it in there. The green crystal.
All right. So next question.
Just give me a second. I'm just typing that in for the folks. And I'll try to get pictures and throw them onto the website when I do the post on this. Okay. So Katie says, is the energy of a larger crystal necessarily stronger vibrationally than a smaller version of the same crystal? How about raw versus polished or shaped?
That's
good
a good
question.
So I think that the energy, I think the energy of a larger crystal can be more powerful. I mean, if you've ever been, think of the difference between just holding a small crystal versus going into, one of those stores that's wall-to-wall crystals, or one of those giant geodes. I don't know if you've ever stood in front of one of those. They do have quite powerful energy. So one part of the question was, are bigger ones more powerful than smaller ones? And then the other part was, what was the other part?
I think that was basically, let me go back up and look at it. Oh, is the energy of a larger crystal stronger vibration than a smaller version of the same crystal? How about raw versus polished or shaped?
Raw versus polished or shaped. Yeah, I think the energy can be different. One thing that I think is not good is when they heat treat them. I think that kills the energy of them. Okay, I chose 2 crystals while I was talking to you.
Yeah. And Tracy's question is some stones are rough, some are smooth. Does this make any kind of difference when using them to heal yourself? So that's basically the same question.
Yeah, well, I think that, well, here's a rough piece of fool's gold, right? It's very grounding energy. I think the vibration of the crystal is the vibration of the crystal. And like I said, you want to tune into each one individually. I think I'd just get to know each crystal friend individually, really. So
I'm sorry, I was laughing because Mr. Bajali sent me a message, TH space U, and I was, what's that? And there's a thank you. You're welcome. Okay.
do you know, I used to know the names of all my crystals, and
Yeah.
I have forgotten them, half of them.
Which one's that you have there?
Well, oh, that one is fool's gold, I think, that I was just showing. But when I was answering the question about the lady about big or small, I don't know the name of this one. It's a tiny little one, actually. It's just like a little polished stone. It's not onyx. I don't think it's onyx.
It looks like onyx, though.
It might be, because there's another one in it that's just black.
Yeah.
And if I hold on to this one, it just makes me think about the void. It's like blackness, but the void is it's like the womb of creation. On that note, we have to go to another
break.
Okay. Welcome back. Tonight's show is going really fast. It's all about.
No kidding. Some great questions tonight too, and comments. So this one's from Katie. Katie says, the first time I was able to see energy, it was emanating from black kyanite. I was unable to feel the energy of the first crystals I purchased, so I was examining it, and it was like I couldn't believe my eyes. Since then, my ability has grown, and I can see energy on other things, people, and now I can feel the energy, but usually only if there's some space between the crystal and my skin. I'm still exploring.
Well,
It's
that's
interesting.
very cool.
Wonder why that would be.
Yeah. Well, so she can only see it when she's not holding it.
Yes, I know.
Well, what's your answer then?
Oh, because when she's holding it, she's grounding it. It's going through her system and she's grounding it out.
Yeah, or she's what's the word? Interfacing or going into phase with the crystal. So she's resonating with the energy of the crystal, matching it.
Yeah. She also said that one that you showed, the white and black one, might be snowflake obsidian.
That's what it is. Thank you, snowflake obsidian. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And she says, do you know much about the 12 synergy stones? They're supposedly the 12 highest vibration stones.
I know nothing about that, but please do feel free to share what you know.
Yeah. Hey, this is from Amanda. She said, when I was a kid, my neighbor would dig in the yard and slice rocks open. I got to see my first geode. I remember being mesmerized, like it was my own little world.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It is like a little world inside, a little secret world that's been, you know, I've got one that's not cracked open yet. It's just got a tiny little bit inside it there. Yeah.
Just tiny, yeah.
Beautiful.
I saw some today on Facebook where somebody was standing there and they had giant geodes that one was like 3 pieces like this. And it was one geode, but it was about 2.5 times the height of the lady that was standing in front of it. So it had to be at least at least 12, 13, 14 feet high. They were huge. They were cut open. Beautiful. I just hope it was a real image, not a false image that was made up.
Well,
It was
there
so
are
beautiful.
some crystal caves. I think there's one in Mexico where, and I think they're salt crystal caves actually, but the crystals are massive. Like you can walk along them, and that is a real cave with real giant crystals.
Yeah, Katie just put a link on for the
Synergy stones.
synergy stones.
Okay, so what's the next question, Corey?
One moment, please, Dr. Lesley. Okay. The next question. Amanda says, dang, I wish I would have gotten in late. I wouldn't have gotten in late. I don't know what's already been said. She says, I've always been an amethyst girl myself.
Mm-hmm.
Caves, Christina says caves. Yes, there's some of the crystal caves are amazing. The ones in Eastern and Mid-Eastern Europe, there are some people are standing on crystals, and they're just standing on crystals that are the size of cedar trees. They're phenomenal.
And I think in some of the Middle Eastern countries, they actually have salt caves that they've built spas, and you go down and you relax underground in the salt cave.
Yeah, which we've done here. They built salt caves out of that salt, and we've gone into those and spent an hour of meditating. If you ever want to have an hour go quick, go into one of those salt caves and meditate. It's like boom, gone. It's incredible. There was one lady I used to go to. She had one in Burnaby here, and she had imported all the stones from, I can't remember, it was Poland or Yugoslavia. She actually sent her nieces and nephews. 3 of them had asthma, and they spent a week in one of these caves. I mean, a solid week in the cave, and they came out and their asthma was gone. It's incredible. Okay. Amanda says they have one here in Ohio, and she's trying to get to see it soon. Wonderful. Okay, this is from Carol. Carol says, I just tried it with holding my pneumite. I felt a strong vibration in my hands, especially down my feet. It gave me a sense of strong connection to higher vibrations and the higher source while staying strong and grounded. Just thanks for your guidance.
Very good.
Yeah. Pick another one, Lesley. Pick another one.
Well, is there another question?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay. So we're just going to pick a stone and see what it says.
I have another question, but I have a question that doesn't really relate to stones.
Bloodstone. Bloodstone. I think it's bloodstone. Let's see what this one says. Well, this is a really interesting one because it feels like it's having more of an effect on my body. Maybe it's auto-suggestion when I said it was a bloodstone, but I just like I can feel my pulse. I can feel I become, whereas the amethyst, I became aware of like feeling like connecting to higher vibrations. This one makes me really stay in my body with my body and tune into what's going on in my body. So I feel like it would help me meditate on my body. And oddly enough, and again, I don't know if it's suggestion, but I'm just looking at pictures of my platelets and things like that. in my bloodstream. And I'm getting a really warm feeling in my solar plexus. Like I'm getting a warm feeling sort of at my core spreading outwards when I hold this one. Interesting. Is there another question, Corey?
Okay. There is a question, but it's not related, but I'm sure that would be fine.
Okay.
This is from Prasad. He emailed this in earlier today. And Prasad said, is there any message from an angel or spirit of or higher being on my birthday on Sunday? Your answer will be highly appreciated.
Okay, well, this is another stone that wanted to speak.
Speak, stone, speak.
It's funny that the person said that pink and green one was Unikite, because I've forgotten the name of this one too. So I'll just tune into its energy. I've actually got two of them. I'll hold one in each hand, Prasad, and we'll see what message comes through for your birthday. Make a wish. It's funny, it just said make a wish. So on your birthday, just spend some time in manifesting, you know, as making a wish, asking for what you want for the next year. And, you know, birthdays are really nice for indulging ourselves and allowing ourselves to have and feeling like we deserve. And so basking in that energy of deserving to have, and then focusing on what else you'd like to manifest, because you're in a good vibrational state to ask for what you want. That's what the stone said.
Amanda missed the part where we talked about how to clean your crystals.
So Amanda, you would just, there's different ways. You can bury them in the ground, you can put them in running water, you can leave them in the moonlight, you can leave them in the sunlight. Different ways.
Bury them.
Yeah.
Bury them.
Yeah.
Don't forget where you bury them.
Yeah.
Tracy says, no question, just a comment. My husband's a geologist. He loves to play with his rocks, in parentheses. I wish he would use his intuitive abilities with the rock crystals as well. Get on him.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good one from Carol. Carol wants to know, does a crystal we own and have programmed with our energy also tune into somebody else's?
I don't really understand that question.
I'll read it again. Does a crystal we own programmed to a crystal we own, comma, programmed with our own energy, also can be also asked to tune into somebody else's energy?
Okay, so Carol's having the concept that she's using the crystal to tune into somebody's energy.
Yeah.
So
I have a sort of an answer for that.
yeah, because I mean, that's more like, well, I've got a crystal ball sort of thing, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I'm using it to tune into somebody's energy.
Yeah. I at one point in my life, many years ago, I was really uptight and I was going through a depression. And what happens, one of my friends suggested hematite, which is to sleep with hematite. And she gave me her bracelet. She had a hematite bracelet and she suggested putting it around my ankle as I slept. And I can tell you, I put that hematite bracelet on, and within 2 nights sleep, I was sleeping soundly. My depression was depleting. My energy was really grounded and solid. It was very interesting. And you have to use real hematite, not the stuff that you get at some of the stores. It's actual real hematite. But yeah, so I think you can use it. people can borrow it, but what happens if it's been programmed with your energy, if your energy isn't perfectly clean and things like that, then you may have an issue there. And when you get it back, by all means, get it back and just clear it. You have to clear it when you get it back. Otherwise, you're in real trouble.
So I was just having a hematite scene as you're talking about hematite.
I think that answered your question, didn't it, Carol?
I think it did, Corey. Thank you. You understood what she meant.
Yeah. Oh, she's written something different. So I wondered if a crystal you own with your energy signature can also be used for other people. Sorry for the confusion. That's no problem, Carol.
Yeah. So Corey answered.
It was
that.
clear enough. It was clear enough. So Carol just tried to tune into Prasad's energy with the crystal. Oh, Katie says, I'd like to put a crystal in each of my indoor potted plants.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does it make them grow faster?
I would think it would make them healthier, yeah. What kind do you put in, Carol? Mr. Jolly says, clean by leaving them in sea salt 3 days.
Thank you.
That's a good way.
I knew that there was another way that I didn't come to my mind, but exactly, you can put them in sea salt.
Yeah, there's so much, like when you look at the intuitive and metaphysics, there's so much information out there. To hold all that information is really, it's not all that easy, and we do forget things once in a while. And it's almost time for the show. Any last minute question? We could take one more question.
I think we can, because we've had a few long silences.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we've had good questions.
Can cut out.
Selenite is great for clearing, aligning chakras. I can always feel it working when I hover selenite wand from my crown to my root chakra.
Yeah. I've got a selenite wand, but it's upstairs.
You have a wand as well down there.
But I also have a selenite like this quartz point that I have. I've got a selenite one as well.
Yeah. I find the one that we found the other day is yellow. It's become yellow. Amanda says I have a big bowl of mixed jade that I use that are by my plants. Ah, cool. Is that real jade or BC jade? And here's the last question. Why do people attract to certain crystals?
Yeah, that's a really.
It's from Amanda.
And you know, that's actually something we didn't talk about, is how do you choose a crystal, or how does a crystal choose you?
You have 1 minute. You have 1 minute to tell them.
Well, no, because there's lots of long silences that cut out. So I think that you can. I've forgotten the question now, Corey, after you telling me.
Why do people attract to certain crystals?
Well, I think it's to do with, resonance, and why you're attracted to a particular crystal is because of some kind of resonant frequency. There's some quality within that crystal that you're drawn to, that you have affinity for, and I guess, why do people attract the crystal? I told 2 stories at the beginning of the show of crystals that came into my life, and one, it was to cheer me up, and the other, it was just really to just honor my presence, really. So I think there can be different reasons why crystals show up in your life as opposed to you being attracted towards a crystal.
Yes, and folks, by the way, that's almost it for tonight. Please remember to give us a like, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit the bell so that you can find out when we're sending new messages through, new videos. And that's it for tonight, Dr. Lesley.
Yes, I'm going to have to sit here and open up all my crystals, and
Oh, no.
because I feel like I've neglected them for too long. All right, bye everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye all.